person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Did you know that AmeriCorps programs improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement in Nebraska? For example, members serving with AmeriCorps programs like Partnership for Kids provide kids with the support they need to succeed in school and prepare for their dream career. Discover more about AmeriCorps programs making a difference in your community at serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the 93.7 The Ticket studio. From the heart of Lincoln, America, this is What's Next 24. With the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome in. Happy Sunday. This is What's Next 24. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, you guys can always join in 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. You can put a face to the voice. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961 if you got Allo Cable. We got the hosts, Mike and Sherry, as always, along with a great guest today. So with that being said, I'll throw it over to the host.
Oh, I don't know if there I am.
Yeah, I had the right mic. That's okay.
There we go. Thank you, Harrison. Well, good morning. Well, welcome to What's Next on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Mike, and I'm joined with Sherry and, of course, the great Harrison. We have another great show to share with you today. We want you to join us for an uplifting and inspiring show where we try to explore incredible stories of resilience and achievement. In the past few weeks, we've had some amazing guests. I just want to mention again, the last couple of weeks have been amazing. We had John Barry on, and we talk about the books and the power of books and reading and the lessons that it can do. I want to point out again, John Barry had the great book of Veteran-Led, a military leadership lessons to help your team survive and thrive and dominate. It's a great book. Last week, we had Mr. Jay Foreman. He's got a book out called The Iron Will. That was a great story last week, talking about his family. Iron Will on what one man needed to survive, the blessing and the curse of the NFL. We've got our book called Next 24. It's available at Barnes & Noble. And I also wanted to include, Derek Pearson, the owner of 93.7 The Tickets, and working with the Chip Baker here called The Impact of Influence is a great book. And we'll talk some about the impact of influence today. So we're excited about that. If you haven't been, and I want to mention, if you haven't been to 93.7 The Ticket, we're here at 1040 O Street. Stop in our studio and you can grab a great coffee from the mill. So with that, let's get started. And Sherry, why don't you introduce our amazing guest today?
I cannot wait. I love this part of the show. First of all, I just want to say, and I know I say this all the time, we are so thankful and so blessed to have Harrison as our producer. We adore him. I've adopted him, probably to his mom's chagrin, but that's okay.
Yeah, hopefully my mom's not listening.
Someday I hope I can meet her. Anyways, all right. Good morning, everybody. We are so honored to welcome a special guest to our show today. Join us in giving me a very warm welcome and heartfelt welcome to Darin Lintner. Darin hails from Syracuse, Nebraska, where his love for football and wrestling took root. Although his life's twists and turns led him on a different path, his dedication and passion remained unwavering. With the wealth of experience as a training coordinator for the Eastern region at the Nebraska State Fire Marshal's office, Darin has touched many lives through his work and commitment to helping others. His live life philosophy, living in the moment and making the most of every day, which is something we love and we talk about in our book because life is just too darn short. It's something we can all be inspired by. Darin's strong relationships with coaches, friends, family, and co-workers have shaped his journey and his positive mindset. We're thrilled to have him share his passion for athletics, hear his life's journey, and the value of maintaining a positive outlook with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the amazing Darin Lintner.
Darin.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Great. No, good morning. Good morning. So glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I really thought of this theme as I got to get to know you a little bit is really about Nebraska born, Nebraska bred, you know, because
you sound like a racehorse.
You're from, because you're from Syracuse.
Yep. Little town Syracuse, about 30 miles east of here.
Let's start there from the early beginnings, because if people don't know, Syracuse is a nice little community.
Yeah, about 2,000 people in the town. My folks moved there in '63, I think. So I was born and raised in the same house I live in today. Bought it back and fixed it up with the family and stuff. So the benefits of being in a small town, but for myself especially, is that the same hallways that I ran as a boy, my kids ran as children, and now my grandkids are running as a child. So,
man.
I mean, that's very important to me.
Well, and I know we date ourselves, but I'll just give you a little back history. When I was a substitute teaching, I had the chance to substitute teach at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Love the school. Great community, great school, football field behind, you know, it's a little bit about Syracuse in terms of, I think it's got a great athletic tradition.
Yep.
Can you share a little bit about the history of the athletics there?
It's been a Class B school, just like all the smaller communities. The school's getting smaller by their levels, but they're still very, very competitive. I mean, in football and wrestling and basketball especially, but they've had a great string of female athletes go through there, state qualifiers, state champions in their track teams 2 years in a row. Probably would have been 3 years in a row, but that was 2020 was their third year, and got shut out.
Well, and when I think about small towns, I remember it was when I was teaching in small town Nebraska. A lot of people come. I mean, the athletics in small schools are an event in small town.
Yeah.
And you were there. What years were you there in Syracuse?
My graduation year was 83.
83.
Yes, sir.
Can you share some just memories of playing athletics?
Yeah, we had. I had some great coaches. Like I said, we talked a little bit about that. Rich Tooney was my football coach my freshman, sophomore year. Then Reed Stevenson, who was a Lincoln man, came down to Syracuse and he coached the football team and assisted wrestling. So he was a great drive for me, just because he'd been in college and he played the game and he understood the game and he understood what he needed to get from his players. I had a fantastic wrestling coach, Rod Powell, who's passed now, but I became Syracuse's first state champion. So that was fun. That was exciting. Great for him, great for us, great for the school. Since then, there's been many champions have come through. And very proud of those guys that keep continuing with that wrestling tradition.
Oh yeah, Syracuse. I just it's always a real joy. Tell us, Darin, your upbringing, Syracuse. Who shaped some of your values growing up in Syracuse? Was it, besides players, your family? What was it like?
Yeah, absolutely. My dad was a journeyman lineman, climbed poles. Journeyman meant, in other words, he was going out and he'd come home when he could. Most of the time, every night, but he was working close. My mom drove the school bus. I was the youngest of four, so I seemed to be the one that got away with everything, just like everybody says you do. In our family of four, we've had a little bit of talk about this, but if you don't know, the Lintners, we just kept getting bigger as we got younger. For those that don't know, my oldest brother was a thoroughbred jockey, Kevin Lintner.
I knew him.
Yeah, you did.
I knew him, and I'm so excited for this part of the story. And those of you that don't know, I don't talk a lot about my past, but when I was 18 and lived in Omaha, we had the illustrious Exarban.
Yep.
The Exarban racetrack, and I've had love for horses since I was 5. I got the opportunity to work out there for a trainer the spring and summer of after I graduated from high school, and got to know his brother Kevin, which I had no clue till last week that they were related.
Well,
and it's so exciting. And then he also filled us in that his dad actually made a makeshift racetrack, because your dad was into the training and the thoroughbreds and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and all three of my older brothers all rode them. I did not. Obviously, I didn't ride too many horses. I was the guy that had the other jobs around there since I was the biggest. And
I was going to say, you were a little big to be doing
little less talented with the livestock as my other 3 brothers were. They were very good with animals, the horses, I should say.
Well, you were pretty good. I mean, did you get your size early in life? And were you one of those young kids, like many, who just loved the weight room early in high school?
No, not at all.
No,
it was purely through genetics is what got me through high school. My mom and dad's genetics. Syracuse didn't have a big weight program at that time. Reed came in, started one. Yeah. I wrestled 185 pounds all 4 years, but played football my senior year about 225. But yeah, it was pitiful. I was not a good motivated lifter back in those days.
Well, since you brought up your brother, Harrison, can you see this picture?
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
This picture?
Mm-hmm.
This is Darin on my right when he was at UNO, and this is your brother.
Yep, that's Kevin when he was racing at
racing. Just notice the size difference. But what I'd like to promote in this picture that everyone in this part of the show and what we talk about, Darin, is everyone's born with some unique talents and gifts. And would you mind sharing just a little bit more about your brother as I don't know the history of his career, jockey
the little bits that I remember though is he started when he was in high school. He would go to school. He would go to the racetrack. He would do the morning gallops and talk to the trainers and all the things that you have to do. And then he would go to school for half a day. Then he'd go back and he'd race at Exarban. And he traveled all the tracks, the Midwestern tracks, ultimately moved to Ohio, worked on a horse farm there. Right now he's in Florida breaking colts. I mean, he's still doing it.
In Ocala or where?
I don't know. Those things I don't know. But he still rides horses, and he's just a little muscle-bound, little wiry dude, but he's tiny.
He's not a big guy.
No, about 5'2". I don't want to hurt him. Maybe he's 5'3". I don't want to say for sure.
He's a little taller than me.
Like I say, though, the emphasis is everybody has unique talents and gifts. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because now your unique talents and gifts, of course, you got into wrestling, state championship, or wrestling state championship. But was your love football or was it wrestling?
No, the wrestling was a family thing. All my brothers went to state.
Yeah.
The year we won it was our junior year. Robert Jacobson was our heavyweight who helped me all the time in practice. And my goal was just get a medal. None of my family ever brought home a medal. And next thing you know, we're in the finals and we wrestled a guy that I happen to know. Yeah. And we got fortunate and won.
And if you've ever been to a state wrestling meet in Nebraska, it's a big deal.
Yeah. And that was when it was here in Lincoln.
Good crowd, good meets and so forth. After high school, what was your dream? You talked a little bit about football.
Yeah, we was the big goal the whole time was to take a shot at the professional football. That's what I love to do. That's what I really felt like I was good at and where my direction was going to be. And so that was everything we were trying to do. It was trying to figure out how to get there. Again, not motivated in the weight room. So we went to a smaller school, great school, University of Nebraska at Omaha, under Sandy Buddha. So, but that was a great place. The coaches there, Gary Evans, my defensive coordinator, Coach Buddha and Coach Evans came to my house, sat across the table with mom and dad and said, hey, you'll play as a freshman and probably start as a sophomore if you do the right things. And so we took that shot.
And back then UNO Mavericks were huge in Omaha. I mean, they were just right there. I don't want to say under the Huskers because it was different divisions and stuff, but the Mavericks filled the stadiums every week. I mean, the fan base was huge.
Yeah. 83 and 84, we were in the playoffs.
Yeah. And just to mention, a lot of Nebraska young men, when it came to Nebraska, they were always invited to walk on. You were asked to walk on.
Yes.
But of course, the need is you need a scholarship. Sure. You want a scholarship. So it got to UNL. Can you share a little bit more about the recruiting process for you?
Oh, it was good. I mean, the crazy thing about UNO, most people didn't know back then, there was no dorms, so we walked in once you got recruited and you went to school, you had to go find your own apartment. You lived in an apartment. They didn't have them set up for you. They said, here's your roommate, Tim Messman from Crete. And away we went. We went in the city and started looking for a place to live. So, but as far as the recruitment process, I mean, it's always like many of your other guests said, it's fun. You get contacted from other people, but UNO put a good plan out there. And again, my goal was to play. And Dad said, you know what, if you're good enough, they're going to find you.
Let me mention this real quick,
that.
because some of the listeners may not know, especially in the Lincoln area. It's kind of maybe forgotten about. I looked this up last night on Nebraska Omaha Mavericks. It has a rich history. Its first season actually began in 1911. It played its games at I can never pronounce it right. Caniglia Field in Omaha over the years. The history record at this last season it says its last season was in 2010. It had 13 conference titles. The championships, the Mavericks won 13 conference championships during their history. These titles were won in the following years. And I'll just mention a few of the years. They were strong in the 60s, 62, 63, 65, 67 to 68. That's considered the Central Intercollegiate Conference. But then I didn't realize, and listen to this, I mean, again, 83, 84, 96, 98, 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, called the North Central Conference. Also, the NCAA playoff appearances, they had made 10 appearances in the NCAA Division II playoffs. And some of their famous coaches, Lloyd Cardwell, he led the team to victory in the 1955 Tangerine Bowl. Al Caniglia coached the team to win the 1962 All Sports Bowl. And Pat Burns was the last coach, of course, to coach the team in the Mavericks final season. So some tradition, some really good history.
Yeah, it was a great program.
Great
really
program.
was.
I think sometimes we forget that in Nebraska.
Absolutely. Yeah,
how good they are. No, seriously.
No, I agree.
And I mean that complimentary wise, that good football, really good football. It's a shame that it came to an end, and we can talk about that later.
We'll talk about that off air.
But what I want to get at is there's many young kids. You see it all the time. They have a goal, and unfortunately, you had a leg injury.
Yep. So we, just like the coaches said, I played as a freshman, started my sophomore and my junior year, and was fortunate enough to make a second team All-American. And then my senior year, everything was kind of playing out. And just to be honest, I was a terrible student at that time because my goal was football. It wasn't to get the degree. And poor Coach Buda and Coach Mueller had to suffer almost every year to make sure I was ready to go. And then we played our first game, got knocked out a couple times during the game, broke my helmet during the game. And but they never took you out. There were no protocols. Came back out the following Monday, really not related to it, but we were in practice and we were running a skeleton, and a receiver come in behind me and caught my leg, and I went down on our AstroTurf, and my rear end hit behind my heel and spun my foot around. So I had a break, and so they went in, they fixed me, and credit to Coach Buda, they got me a red shirt, said take the year off, get your school figured out, and we'll see you in the spring. Which in my heart of hearts, I really think I wish I would have stayed closer to the team because I kind of lost my step. I think I was a player that really believed in know your reads, know your keys, and then hit them as hard as you can. To keep it polite. So when I came back in the spring, I kind of lost a step. And again, to be totally honest, I didn't come back from that. I never did. I told the coach right before fall camp, was very unprofessional myself, and said that I'm done. And my position coach understood it. Obviously, Coach Buda was very disappointed, but yeah.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because sometimes I think that's not talked about enough. When you get injured, I mean, the mental piece of this, it can knock you down. It can set you back. It can maybe second guess. What's your opinion?
Well, mine was, since I was in the third grade, I played football every fall, and that's all I did. I played football every fall from the third grade. So now all of a sudden here I am at 21 or whatever I was. And it's a terrible thing to say, but I realized there's other things to do in the fall. Other people have Saturdays off. They have Sundays off. I didn't have to go to practice every day. And that's where I think my edge went. And again, that's all on me. That's not on my coaches. That's on nobody else. It was just that point where I slipped a little bit. And once I slipped a little too far away from it.
Yeah. Well, what I was impressed about when talking to you, though, you at Yeah, I mean, you're what? You're 22, 23 years old at that
probably,
time,
yeah.
about that?
21 or 22. Yeah.
You had to make some life choices, some changes, because you have a big goal. You want to play in the NFL.
Yep.
And you're thinking, oh, this may not work out.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't fun. I mean, and I had some really close friends, Dave Hoffman, Ron Meister, Mel Flores, threw my bone for those guys. But they talked to me a little bit, and some other people, and it was critical. I think I probably went at it a little too quick. I didn't stay in there and just to see. I took the easy way out, kind of. You know, I wasn't in a position where I was as dominant as I had always been, you know. And Coach Buddha even said, he goes, you got to give it time. You got to give it time. And I didn't. I made a decision probably a little too quick, you know, and it was a huge decision in my right, because now everything I'd been working for since I was a little kid.
Knowing that you know that now, what would be your recommendation to a young athlete today?
Stay involved. I mean, I've known some high school parents and stuff like that. And if a son has a leg break or something like that, I constantly tell him, don't let him get away from football. Make him stay, go to every practice, go to every drill, go to every team meeting. You go to everything and you stay plugged in, because it's when you unplug in anything, right? You unplug in anything, other stuff's going to find its way in there.
It's the team mentality.
Yeah.
It's the team mentality where it's not just you. You're
Yeah.
part of something bigger.
Yeah. There's a mental aspect to this.
Yeah. Whether it's sports, whether it's business, no matter what it is.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Knowing you, Darin, did you go through some anger or depression during that time?
I think at that time I isolated a lot. I just got to, because, you know, in reality, when I left the team. I you know, 2-time captain, and I quit on my team, which is tough, you know, so that was hard.
Yeah. Well, but you told me the story last night. Like at Sandy
we were, and this is a terrible thing. We were at a funeral of our quarterback, Randy Naran, and I when I went to this, I felt outside, you know, because I'd really hurt my team. And coach goes, you know what? You were never off the team.
Yeah. That's a great lesson, a great story. I want kids to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darin. That's awesome. Let's move forward a little bit, because I think this is fun too. You still had the coaching itch. You still had to be with the players and be on that field, didn't you? Would you just share your journey?
As far as the coaching, when I got after I got out of football, my other brother Lauren, the one that's just under Kevin, he says, get into it. And I was like, I don't have a team. I have nowhere to go. Omaha West Side. So I was at Omaha West Side for 3 years. And
my school.
Oh, there you go.
My alma mater.
Yeah. Great experience with coaching. I mean, I was with the freshmen, I think, my first year. Then I believe I moved up a little bit from there, but a great facility, great coaches to be around, great people to learn from that had been around the coaching system. I mean, I came in understanding football. So we took a college program and slipped it into a high school program.
Did you coach any wrestling there?
Yep, we had Lou Maloney. Yep. So
I love Lou Maloney.
I was with Lou or two of those years. I think I did not get to help him as my first year there, but my
amazing
second
coach, amazing man, and just an all around great guy.
Jim Fye, he was in that. Marty was there. Yeah, all these guys were just very accepting. You know, here's this young guy just out of college that, you know, and come on in, share your stuff, you know, and Class A wrestles class different than Class B does, you know, and we started having so much fun. It was a blast as I came out and looking for somewhere else to be a part of.
Did coaching fill that void?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, because again, I went to a bar and started bartending and then I go to practice, and that's how, and Phil Shack was one of the other guys that played with me at UNO. Phil, he was outside backer, and he was at Omaha West Side. So that was,
I went to junior high and high school with Stan.
Yeah.
Stan is now an ENT doctor. I had a big crush on him. Stan, if you're listening, you already know that. Okay.
Yeah.
From West Side, where did you go?
West Side, got married, moved here to Lincoln, and then I called Reed Stevenson. I said, hey, I need a team. Who needs a coach? And he goes, well, if you're going to coach anywhere, you're coming here. So we went to Syracuse, and then went in there and worked with Coach Mulcahy, who was my defensive coordinator. And then eventually I took the defense over and stayed there for several years, 5 years at Syracuse. Again, had a great time. I mean, it's a whole different level of athlete, but it's, you know, I knew these kids. I knew where they came from, you know, that kind of stuff. And then after 5 years there, I went to Nebraska Wesleyan and coached the inside linebackers there in Nebraska Wesleyan with Steve. Steve Standard.
Steve Standard.
Yeah.
Steve Standard's now a linebacker coach at K-State.
Yeah. And so then after that, I went back to Syracuse for a few years, and then I ended my coaching career at Lincoln Northeast. So I went up there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I asked you that earlier, was Bob Ells and Bill Story there?
No. I don't think so. I mean, all I know is I showed up for practice.
Yeah.
Dave Savela was the head coach at that time.
Yes.
Yep. And Reed Stevenson was the athletic director.
Yeah.
So there was my little in.
Let me just back up just a couple seconds. You said you went back and coached at Syracuse.
Yeah.
You were coaching with your actual coaches.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was fantastic. I mean, like I said, Reed was my coach. Well, here's my little hit. Reed was my coach. I got to go back and coach him. And then ultimately when I came to Northeast, I coached his son.
Wow.
You know, again, that's that circle stuff. And no, I think it was, they trusted me again. You have that opportunity where people trust you and what are you doing and how are you doing it? And the best thing about me and Reed was we'd bounce off each other. He was the offensive guy. I was the defensive guy. So there was constantly the, what if I do this?
Yeah.
You know, the last guy with the chalk mentality.
Mhm.
And I think it made both of our sides of the ball just a little bit better.
That's awesome.
And again, though, it seems like then another time there had to be a decision made.
Yeah.
To not coach, because I'm sure coaching at high school at that level, financially back then, it was not great.
Right.
You know,
right.
Was that part of that decision making?
To move forward from there was I was working, and then I also, when I was at Northeast, I was coaching at teaching at Southeast Community College in the fire program.
Oh, were you at that point? That had already begun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I was there. And so as far as the coaching goes, Northeast, they were making a change. The high school football was changing. You know, I was in it when there was 2 running backs and a cloud of dust, and we still had it was big on big. Who's tougher, but it was starting to change over to that. Go 5 wide. We don't have to block anybody. We're faster than you mentality.
Basketball on turf.
Yeah. And Coach Savela was wanting to do something different, and it wasn't me.
Wasn't you?
Yeah.
On that note, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back more with Darin in just a minute.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game, that's 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to bebignow.org.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rental, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 29th is $2 off bacon, $2 off summer sausage, and 20% off on crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
The captain for Sean Jackson.
This is Matt Rule bragging about the Big Ten, but at the same time, they made it to their bowl game.
66 for me, yeah, we went to a bowl. We won it, and we won it playing against a team without their best two players. I'm not really buying that, me personally. I think we're a 500 team right now. I don't think we deserve to go to a bowl game. I'm glad we went because we got a chance finally to get some extra work. They got a chance to feel how it feels to go to a bowl game. So that's all done. But taking care of what you need to take care of, I think, comes first.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in. What's Next 24? Here's some of the ones and twos. As always, on this Sunday morning, we got the guest Dan Lintner in here, along with the hosts, as always, Mike and Sherry. 402-464-5685. That's the Sartor Heyman text line. As always, if you guys want to plug in. Mike and Sherry, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, well, welcome back. We're with Darin Lintner, and we're just going to be talking about his live life motto and how life has changed. And what I love about this show is because we always tend to talk about a plan. But Darin, you mentioned you didn't really have a plan, and we're going to shift into this next. You got into volunteer firefighting. Can you give us some backdrop on this?
Yeah, I was living in Syracuse, building houses, working for a builder. And if you know anything about little towns, if it's, little towns, you are the fire department. There is no career. You are volunteers. And the only way you get people is by recruiting. And all across this state, folks, if you have that ability to do anything, help, because all departments are hurting. My deal, the guy said, hey, come on, join the department. It's a great place to be. And I'll say it. I wasn't going to, but they got me on because they said you could have as much beer and food as you wanted twice a month. And I said, hey, that sounds like a good plan to me. So I joined on a Monday with Drew. And then that Sunday, I saw my first fire in a state training burn, where they put a bunch of materials in the corner. This is 27 years ago. They light it on fire. You sit there on your knees and you watch this thing come at you. And fire growth is not like it is in a campfire. It's just it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I even yelled at him that it was the most adrenaline I'd ever felt since I played college football. And then I was hooked, and then I just started training. And then again, there's my direction. There's what I wanted to do.
Let me stop there. How does someone get into volunteer firefighting, and how does someone get educated? How did you end up getting to Southeast Community College and teaching?
Yeah. If you're out there and you think you can join, just go down and meet with your fire department. Find out what night they meet and show up and let them know you're interested. All departments are going to have a different mentality on how they bring you on or how that schedule is going to be. But again, everybody needs. So, you can take the initiative, go find a member and say, hey, can I get an application to join your department? For myself, again, I was a K-12 education major. Again, did not graduate from but and enjoyed that the whole time. And then the coaching, it's just like coaching. I mean, it is, you're taking people into an athletic environment and pushing them and stressing them. And the more you practice, the better you're going to be when it's game day mentality.
Explain what you're doing today, because I did not know this, and I don't think a lot of people understand that you're training.
Yep.
And just go ahead and share the background, the regions.
Yeah, so right now I work for the State Fire Marshal's office as a training coordinator. I'm in the East region, which is where I'm at, Odo County, here to you guys in Lancaster, out to Polk, way up to where Blair is in Washington, and all the little counties in that area. I have the smallest region, but we're the most populated. And there's 5 other guys across the region, this state of Nebraska, just like me. And volunteers and career departments will come to us for certifications. They'll come for us to have us help train them, primarily in the volunteers a lot. And anything to do fire, we will come and train them for free. There is no cost.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and for me, I believe I'm down to about 18 part-time staff. So a department calls me, we get it coordinated. What are the dates going to be? What's going to be the work? And then I talk to my part-time staff and who wants to work it. And then they go and they teach. I mean, I used to be what we call the blue shirts in the East, but I used to be that guy that taught all the time, but now I'm the guy that coordinates all the time. And I teach some of the upper level, the officer classes and the instructor classes. But I got a great bunch of guys and gals that have wonderful passion right now. And my whole thing is to make people fall in love with their job, right? Because you can do the job, but why not love what you do?
Well, and I think, what you just mentioned about telling people, if you're in smaller areas, find volunteer. But people need to realize that bigger cities like Omaha, and I'm sure Lincoln too, you've got the Blair Volunteer Fire Department. You've got the Irvington Volunteer Fire Department. There's so many little places around the big cities that, and like you said, they are hurting.
Yep.
And if you're somebody that's looking into getting into firefighting, even a bigger city, what a better place to start.
Yeah. And again, Plattsmouth, Gretna is just going to a career department, and EMS is driving all that more than the fires are, because fire protection is getting better. But absolutely. I mean, even if you don't think that you want to be, go find out. You might not even know how, and I want to say the words rewarding, but it's a lot of fun.
Can you talk about a little bit more about the details of the instruction of training? What do you get into? I mean, what's the focus this year? What's the main vision?
I think every year it's with a lot of basic stuff like Firefighter 1, which is a basic step into fire service. And then you have Firefighter 2. And then it amps it up. I guess right now for us this year, we're putting in some rope classes. So people, and again, I don't go out and say, hey, I want to teach you a class. People they call and say, our department in Avoca, Nebraska says, we're buying ropes. What ropes do we need? So we got them a list of the ropes they could get and all the materials, right? And then we show up there, and then we teach them for a couple of days.
Wow. And what I like about this journey, as you said, wasn't planned, but you found your niche.
Yeah.
Your love, your natural talent. Tell us about what you feel your natural talent is.
I believe I'm a very strong motivator to help people. Hopefully very positive. Got that from my dad. You got to be positive. You got to move forward a lot of the times. And if I could show you how much passion I have in something, well, maybe that rubs off a little bit.
Well, I want to share how I first ran across Darin on Facebook. There's a video of him bench pressing, and if I don't mind me saying, you're 60 years old now, right?
60 years old.
60 years old. And I've been watching Darin. He's a very humble man. I'm just going to say that. He doesn't really like to talk about himself. So I know this might be hard today, but he likes to post little clips about motivational things in life, keep people going, just think about things. And I love all the clips he has. There is a video of him bench pressing 405. Now, I'd like to know how many men our age at 60 can do 405. I don't think very many.
Probably
That's pretty
0 to 0.
Now, but you shared with me. You do this once a year.
Once or twice a year. When I feel like I'm ready, then I just do it.
And why is that?
Why not? You know, it's, I don't know. I said some of my best friends just call me not intelligent at that moment, you know, and just say,
but what I like, and we tried to put it in our book, and I think that people in life, general life out there, and I'm sure you see it all the time, they lose their passion.
Yeah.
They lose their mindset. They give up on goals. You seem to have reignited your passion, your goals, and your purpose. Can you show your? We've got this. He's got a motto. He's got some
amazing.
And again, he doesn't just if you maybe showed up at the camera there.
Oh, right here.
He's got this, and you do offer these. People can get these.
Yep. And again, it's not about the merchandise at all.
No.
I mean, I don't really want to stress. I mean, there's stuff that you can get, and I say, if you get it, you're just a walking billboard of positivity walking around.
But back up, how did this motto of live life for you develop? And why did you begin to start sharing this with people?
About 3 years ago, we were figuring it out that I wasn't in a good place. I was a pretty negative person. I'd been stomped down, kicked on a little bit. So I thought, and I had a cousin that lived in California, and she said, come out and see me for a week. So I went out and I got to go hang out on the beach for a week. And she did some things to help me and make me feel better about things and understand myself a little bit better. And I came back and said, that was it. I was done. No more negativity. There's too much negativity. There is too much negativity in the world right now. And I wasn't going to be a part of it. I mean, I'm like most people that get sick of the negativity. I dropped the news. I was not going to take outside influences I didn't want to listen to anymore. And I was going to center ourselves on me. And I was on my deck one day and I just popped the camera up and talked for 30 seconds. And that's where it started.
Wow.
And then a couple people said, hey, do another one. And now it's not every day, but it's most days. It's going to sound weird, but most of the things that come into my head, I don't read them. I don't look at nothing. It's just a thought pops in my head, sometimes in the middle of the night. I have to grab my phone and text it in real quick because I'll forget it before the morning.
If you can remember, can you share the one you did the other day on potluck?
Oh, yeah. Potluck was nothing more, folks, that how everybody comes together and they bring stuff together. And I called it potential luck instead of potluck. If you think about yourself, what is it that you bring to the party? What is it that you bring to the banquet, and if you're really good and people really enjoy it, what happens? Those people come back and they want to see what you brought. They want to talk to you again. I'm not saying that if you don't have something good at the potluck, people don't like it, even though it looks good. Sometimes it doesn't taste good. And sometimes it doesn't look that good, but it is delicious.
And if it's good, they want the recipe.
Absolutely. They want to know, how did you get to where you're at? And that's just positivity if you take that potluck philosophy and make it potential luck of just saying, how come you're always in such a good mood? How come? Well, the how come is inside of everybody. Again, like we talk, I don't have new thoughts. I don't teach people. All I'm doing is help bring stuff out of you that maybe we just packed it away somewhere and I just got to help you unpack it.
Exactly. How has this changed you over the years?
I think I feel a lot better in my community, meaning as far as what it is I think I'm doing. Again, I have a drive towards it. Every time I think I'm going to stop, somebody gets a hold of me and says, hey, thank you very much. And then I'm like, well, if I got one person listening, I'm good. I mean, I talk to a guy almost daily from Guam. And I got guys in Bosnia and I got guys all, I'm not, who cares? I got whole bunch of people here in Lincoln. It doesn't matter. It's the thought, it's the process. It's just to help people get through some things.
Well, where can people hear you?
Primarily it's on my Facebook page, Facebook and Snapchat is where I do them right off my phone. There's no big fancy production. No. I mean, most time I'm in the weight room or I'm at the farm or I'm going down the road or I'm sitting somewhere in my state truck. It's just when it hits me and I get my thoughts together, and the comical aspect of it is it's a one and done take. I don't do 30 takes to make sure it's perfect.
And the lesson to me in this, anybody can do this.
Absolutely.
If anybody anybody can share from their heart, their mind, their soul, their passion of what's important to them.
Yeah.
If more people did that, it would raise more people up. Can you share some, real quick, can you share maybe some testimonials from anybody? Anybody come to mind that reached out to you that it made an impact?
I think on the athletic side of it, a lot of people, they take those as motivation for the weight room. Well, if you're that old and can do it, I can do it kind of mentality.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I'm not saying you can do it, but boy, I'm here to support you as far as you can get. That's great. And I've had, oh golly, the one the other day, somebody called up and they were not happy. And so we just talked. And again, I don't have a license and nothing. I'm just a person that's been around for 60 years. Right. And all I asked was, I go, is what's making you unhappy you, or is it somebody else? And if it is somebody else, is that somebody else so important that they can make you unhappy?
Oh, absolutely. On that note, we need to take.
Well, real quick here, since we're talking about getting these words out here, real quick, Bill and Bennett, I'll shout out being from a small town myself. Said small towns of Nebraska would be nothing without our local fire departments and all they do for the community. So appreciate that. And again, you guys can continue to text in throughout the show, but we are up to our last break here. So throughout the break here, what's the next 24? Mike and Sherry, the host as always. We got one more segment left on the other side.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store. Family owned and operated, located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. The end of season clearance is going on now with up to 50% off. Stop in now for best selection on sweaters, outerwear, suits, sport coat, dress pants, and dress shirts. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fierce Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fierce Cheese Spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fierce Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings & Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings & Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up.
Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln or their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Men's health is not a game at Limitless Male. It's serious medicine. We're not a West Coast franchise with a one-size-fits-all approach. Every man is different. Some men require more or less testosterone to feel their best. At Limitless Male, we safely monitor your labs and symptoms along the way and adjust your treatment as needed. The only thing cookie cutter about Limitless Male? The incredible results men brag about. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Back to What's Next 24 from the 93.7 The Ticket studio with the authors of Next 24, Michael Worrell and Sherry Tills.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. What's Next 24? We got the guest Darin Lintner along with Mike and Sherry. Not a ton of time left, so I'll throw it to you guys.
Okay, here we are, and I get to start this one out.
No, go ahead, Sherry.
Yes, I already called dibs. Anyway, I just want to give, you heard us talking about his brother Kevin, who I've known, my gosh, since I was 18 years old. Knew him as a very young jockey. But Kevin, I hope you're listening. If you're not, you will be. I want to shout out to you and just tell you, you would remember me as Sherry Lee and my best friend Jackie Kaya. And we just want to shout out to you and tell you that we are so excited that you're still in the horse business, and we just wish you well and many blessings, and just thanks for your friendship. Thanks for your friendship. We all had so much fun. That's all.
Very good. Darin, a couple quick questions before the hour ends. I mean, I know you're known to be very humble, but how has your mindset changed over the years?
I think everybody becomes less self-centered, right? I mean, it's about other people. I mean, there's a great thing out there called Maslow's hierarchy of learning, and it stems from when you're young, or when you're learning, you can only care about yourself. And it's when you get to the top of it, that's when you start looking down, putting your hand out, saying, "Who can I pull up to my level?" or whatever. I'm not saying I'm at the top, but I'm in some things. I feel like I'm pretty close to that. So I believe now I'm a better person. I mean, there's a million people I could name and apologize to for the way I have been in my youth and my past, and maybe even last week. But everybody's a work in progress, and I'm doing the best I can, I hope, and we roll from there. So that's where I think I'm at.
How do you take? We always talk about the next 24. That's what we put the title of the book. It's just how we can get a little better.
Yeah,
we all share 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
How do you get a little better every day?
I think for everybody, when you wake up, you set your standard, and for myself, I do. And not everybody is having a great day, but it's when you wake up, you need to say, I'm going to have a good day today.
Yep.
Because whatever you're looking for, you're going to find, and if you're out there and you thinking negative thoughts, or if you believe you can't do something, self-prophecy, you're going to push it there.
What process do you use? I mean, a lot of people talk, there's a book called Miracle Morning that's out there that's real good. And it talks about when you get up in the morning, to do a little bit of pray, a little bit of journaling, just visualize your day, get a little bit of exercise in before you start your work day.
Yeah.
What is your routine?
For me, if it's most of my days, I find myself in the weight room early. I mean, I will go there and I don't stay all day. I get in, I get out, I do the work I have to do, which kind of kickstarts me, gives you an opportunity to think and get going. I think probably my biggest negative thing happens is when I don't do that. Because those days that I don't get up and start rocking it, you could just feel your energy leaving you, right? Yeah. And I'm a firm believer, if you, whatever it is, it's got to fire you up. If it's that cup of coffee that you guys drink.
He doesn't drink coffee. I don't understand it.
Burnt water. Anyway, but I think it's all internal. You know, you can't look at somebody else and say, make me excited, make me happy. It's just not going to happen. It's got to come from inside of you, and then push it out to everybody else, and you be the one that makes other people happy.
Yeah. How did you find that when you started to do this, that it was clicking?
The best part was when, like I said, people would buy shirts and then they'd send their picture back to me and say, here I am in Florida. Here I am in Bulgaria. Here I am in Guam. Here I am in wherever, you know, and these are just people doing it. I try not to get the ability that I have to get up and see who saw my video. I've gotten better at that. That used to be a thing for me, where I'm like, you know what, that's not it. Because then it was internalizing. It was making me feel good that was happening, where I really don't want that. I want everything to be going outward. I really want to be pushing stuff out to where people feel better and not doing it for myself.
I love that. Love that.
What's the plan for the future in this?
Hey, like you talk about, we got to have a plan. I don't have one. I go, we'll do this until people tell me they don't want to hear it anymore, and then we'll go away from it. But boy, I tell you, as long as people are wanting it and listening to it, and we have interactions, or people talk about how their lives are being changed, or just their day.
Have you noticed, since you've gone through the process, you've changed, that people see you differently and act differently around you now?
I don't know about that. I guess nobody's really brought that up and talked to me about how, if I am a different person. I mean, I have some strong people that help me, like you said the other day, that there is a calling somewhere in this, probably.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. I want to make a quick note. You know, it's sad that Calvin Jones has passed away the other day unexpectedly due to a problem with a furnace and so forth. One, it's very sad about him, and I hope everything goes well with the family and athletes. What do you tell athletes that maybe he had a great career, but then he had some problems, went off the rails. So I think suffered financially. What's your recommendation? This seems to be a theme with athletes these days.
Well, I think it's that team mentality that you mentioned earlier, that so often we're used to being on a team and being part of something. And again, I was fortunate. I found something. There's things out there. Football is great. Wrestling, any sports, any athletic thing is great. But there is so much more to this world than just that whistle and that whistle.
Yeah, there's a big problem in this world that people, like you mentioned earlier, people are so isolated.
Yep.
And when you're not part of a team, you lose your joy.
Yep.
You lose your motivation. What is your recommendation to someone who maybe be at that point right now?
I think, this kind of goes back to my Buddha thing, where you come to a door and the door seems like it's locked, or they're on the other side holding you out, not letting you be a part of it. See if it's open. Maybe you're the one that has to turn the knob, or maybe you're the one that has to push the door, or maybe you're the one that's got to knock on the door, and then everybody makes choices. So the choices you make, if you stand on the other side of that door and say, they're not letting me in, I don't think you're trying hard enough.
Kick the door in.
I used to say kick the door in, but that was a little invasive.
Yeah. Well, it's the firefighter mentality. Hey, we got one last question. This is the ending of the show, Darin, but this is the most fun for me, is you get to speak to the community and share your heart. You can say anything you'd like to the community.
For myself, I believe that we all make choices. And I just made a comment about this the other day, that the choices that you make, some people are not going to agree with, and that's okay. And that's been my kind of thing recently, is saying that's okay. You don't have to force what you do. Everything I do is going to make a choice, but I have to take the choices that you have made and you have made that are going to help me on my choice, right? I could have chose to be here, but I'm not here until you guys made a choice to have me come.
Well, I want to add to that. You mentioned habits.
Yeah.
You said that people don't, how'd you phrase that?
I don't believe in habits. I mean, a habit is, people say, well, I have a bad habit, I smoke. No, you make a choice. You make a choice every day to do that. That is what you think is a habit. It's a choice that you're making, and if you don't like the things that you do, then you choose to go a different direction.
That's excellent. With that, Harrison, will end the show today. Well, this has been great. Darin, thank you.
Sure,
great.
Thanks.
Please reach out to Darin Lintner. He's available on Facebook. He's got, like I said, a lot of great T-shirts, hats, and motivation. So reach out to Darin. I think he'd appreciate it.
And live life positive.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.